Hello friends, in this video we are going to learn how to design isolated rectangular footing using this spreadsheet. So first of all, we are trying to understand the problem statement. So here we have to design an isolated rectangular footing which is subjected to 700 kilonewton service load, and the column which is carrying this service load is having the size of 230 by 600 mm, and the material that we have to use for the design of this foundation will be M20 and Fe415. And the most important data, that is what the bearing capacity of the soil at this proposed site is 250 kilonewton per meter square, and our job is to prepare the schedule and detail for the design output. So to solve this entire problem, we are going to use this spreadsheet. Got it? So all the basic data first we have to put it in this Excel sheet. Then we are going to find out the solution. And whatever the solution we are going to get, we will prepare the schedule accordingly. So first of all, try to understand how to use this Excel sheet. So you have to edit the value only in these yellow cells. Okay. And then sky blue color cell will perform the checks against the particular criteria, and then orange color cell will what suggest the safe value for the later design. You don't need to worry about the white cells because the formulas are fitted in these white cells. So whatever the basic values you are going to put in the yellow cells, accordingly white cells are going to be adjust the value because as per the calculation. So you don't need to worry about the white cell. Only put the basic data about your question, about your problem in the yellow cells. Is that all okay? Now we have to put here the basic values like what is the bearing capacity of the soil, what is the material properties, what is the section size of the column. So we need to look once more to your problem statement. So what actually we have given, so we have to design an isolated rectangular footing, we know very well. So what is the material properties there? So here we have to use M20 grade of concrete and Fe415 grade of steel. So come back to your sheet, and yeah, here drop down list is available, so I can change accordingly. So M20, and we have to use Fe415 grade of steel. So all the grades of steels are available here, so I am going to take Fe415 accordingly. Now what is the bearing capacity of the soil at the proposed section for your problem? So the bearing capacity of the soil as given here as 250 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, so just go back and put here as 250 kilonewton per meter square. What is the column size? So yeah, the column size is what? 230 by 600 is the column size is in mm. So just go back and put here 230 by 600 section size of your column. How much service load coming to this particular footing through the column, that we need to know. So it is also available in your problem statement. It is what? 700 kilonewton. So just go back and put here as 700 kilonewton. Is that all okay? Now next will be what? We need to add 10% self weight of the footing. Actually, the load coming from the column, whatever the column is there, this 700 is the service load that is coming from the superstructure only. But when you are going to impose the load over the soil mass, so what will be there? The weight of the footing will also be adding here. But initially, we don't know what is the size of the footing. And if you are not knowing the size of footing, so you will not be able to calculate the self weight of the footing. Size of footing means what? What is the length of the footing? What is the width of the footing? What is the depth of the footing? We don't know that. So without of knowing that, you can't calculate the self weight of the footing. That's why at the initial stage, what we are going to do, we are going to consider 10% of your service load as the self weight of the footing. So if you are going to take that 10% of this 700 kilonewton, how much it will become? 70. This 700 plus 70 will become the gross load that is going to be acting over the soil mass, will become 770 kilonewton. Okay, now clear cover. So how much clear cover we need to take for the footing? As per the IS code, if your footing, if you are going to directly rest over the soil mass, so minimum cover for the minimum clear cover should be what? 75 mm. If you are directly going to put your foundation of your concrete slab directly to the soil mass, so 75 mm. But if you are going to provide the PCC, 100 mm PCC, 150 mm PCC, at that time minimum clear cover should be what? That should be as the minimum 50 mm. So here means for our all the type of footing we are normally providing with PCC. That's why here the clear cover we should take as 50 mm. Okay, so I am going to put here as 50. So 50 value you need to put here. Then diameter of bar. So here on preliminary stage, you have to decide the diameter of bar. So drop down list is available 8, 10, 12, 16, 20 onward. So different diameter of bars available based on your choice on the preliminary stage. It is not the final one. It is what the preliminary data. Okay, so here I am going to take the 12 mm diameter of bar on preliminary stage. So this is the first basic input data stage. There we have defined all the things as per our problem statement, as per our data. Next to that, we need to decide the size of footing. The very important step that we have to decide the size of footing means, so what should be the dimension, width and depth of the footing. So area of footing required to carry this much loading. See, whatever the load you are going to put, we need to find out the safe area of the soil, safe area of the footing, so that your load will be carried by your soil mass. So area of footing required as 3.08, and what we need to what suggesting value we are getting. As I told you, here in orange cell, it will suggest the possible safe value. So it is what suggesting for making this design as safe in respect of in plan dimension of the footing. So it is asking to provide 1.95. It is giving the idea what length we should take. So it is suggesting what 1.95. So here in yellow cells we have to take the final value. So I am going to take, you all will suggest definitely the 2 meter. Okay, the next higher value, safer value we have to take as what, as 2 meter. I am going to take here 1.58. Next higher value will be what, 1.6. I am going to take. It's a very important stage. Okay, where, see, what does mean by this, what does mean by this. So this is what the projection beyond the face of the column. Like if you are going to look in plan, so if you like to have uniform contact pressure throughout the contact surface of your footing, if you like to have uniform contact pressure, so for having the uniform contact pressure you have to adjust this projection beyond the face of the column along the length, along the width, as much as possible, having the closer value. If you have succeeded to maintain exactly same, suppose along length projection is x, along length here it is also x, here it is also x, here it is also x, that will leads to more economical and stable design. What I am saying that if you are succeeded to maintain the projection along all of its sides as equal projection irrespective of size of column and size of footing, if you are succeeded to maintain the equal projection on all of its sides, means what, your design will be most stable and most economical. So you have to try as much as possible. Another statement, remember that it is not compulsory always. You have to try to make it as more close. If you are maintaining as exactly same, that is the good one. If you are lagging by some value, that's also okay, no issue. Under such situation we have to compromise with this criteria. But yeah, if you would like to have the uniform contact pressure throughout the area of the footing, then you have to maintain this projection as close as possible. So here 0.7 and here 0.68. So it is not much, there is no much great difference. It is almost same. Remember this. So you have to choose the value here such that this projection should be close as much as possible. Is that all okay? Now in these scapular cells, it is what the upward soil pressure is less than of your LBC, means 240 upward soil pressure we are getting, and the bearing capacity of soil is 250, means it is okay, we can proceed for the next step. Is that all okay? Now next, we have to decide the depth of the footing. We have decided the size of footing like length and width. Now we have to decide how much depth we need to provide. So movement along the length is 141.49 and movement along the width 169.36 we are getting. Along the width, along the length, along the width. So amongst these two value of movement, we have to take the maximum one to decide to find out how much effective depth required for the footing. So it is suggesting what, 175.16 mm minimum depth we should provide. But I would like to take your concentration here that it is the demand for the flexure. It is the demand for the flexure, but your depth of the footing is depends on two criteria. One is what? Your flexural criteria. Second one is your shear criteria. Remember this. Flexural criteria. Second one is your shear criteria. And as per my experience, I'm sharing that the demand of depth of the footing were dominating by this shear criteria. So if I'm providing the depth, final depth in respect of flexural criteria, definitely that will fail in the shear check. That's why what I'm going to directly going to take the depth of the footing as 500. So overall depth, it is also the yellow cells. You have to choose the value as per your need, as per your judgment, as per your requirement. So I am going to put here as 500. Now effective depth available will become what? 500. How we are calculating the effective depth? I expect that you all know very well, but still I am going to share with you. So effective depth will become equal to total depth minus your clear cover minus half of your diameter of bar. So you can cross check it whether it is right or wrong. I am not going to do that. Okay, so effective depth here it is available 444. Now along the length of the footing, how much area of reinforcement is required? So along the length of the footing, AST required for the design purpose 907.08 mm square of area of reinforcement is required. Now here the minimum reinforcement to be provided along this length of the footing is 960. Minimum area of reinforcement is what? For the footing that should be what? Minimum criteria as per the coder requirement, that should be 0.12% of B into D. If you are going to calculate the minimum area of reinforcement required by this formula, so you will get what? The requirement of minimum is 960. Now the problem here is what? We are having the design requirement, we are having the minimum requirement. So always in comparison of these two requirement, always we have to go with the maximum one. So minimum is the maximum one, so we have to provide at least this much reinforcement. In some cases, if you are getting more reinforcement for the design purpose, so you have to go with that. Okay, now as per the diameter, so here the option is available, drop down list is there of about the diameter of bar. So if I am taking 10 mm diameter of bar, so 130 mm spacing is required for the safe design. If I am using 12 mm diameter of bar, 188 mm spacing is required for the safe design. If I am going to take what? 16 mm diameter of bar, 335 mm spacing is required. If I am using what? 20 mm diameter of bar, 523 mm spacing is required for the safe design. Okay, so what I am going to do here, I am going to take what? 12 mm diameter of bar. For the 12 mm diameter of bar, what spacing is required? 188. You all have to always round it down. Okay, laser value you have to take to make the more safe design. So 188 we are getting, so lower value of this will be what? 175, or you can take 150, or you can take 125. Means by rounding out of this value by 25 mm. Why I'm going to take 25? Because on site it is easy to execute. What the site person, what they are doing, they are measuring it by the inches. So 1 inch will equal to approximately 25 mm. So it is very easy for them to decide the value. So if you are taking what, like suppose 150, so they will consider it as 6 inches. So it is easy to execute on site. Okay, so that's why it is only, otherwise you can take 180 also, 185 also. Okay, it's your choice. So here I am going to take 175. I can change it, either you can take 150 also, or you can take 175. So here I am going to practice it with 175. Take 175. Final provided along the length of the footing sheet will automatically give this 12 mm diameter of bar at a spacing of 175 mm. We have decided along the length. Along the width, same thing is there. 1084. Minimum is what? 1200. If you are providing 12 mm diameter of bar, 188 again. So it is 175 again. We are going to provide along the width also. Okay. Now we don't need to worry about it. Finally, the check here it is provided along the length, one way shear. Now this is all done. We have decided the length of the footing, we have decided the width of the footing, we have decided the depth of the footing, we have decided the reinforcement along both of the direction. Both the things have been completed. Everything is now completed. Now we have to perform the check whether the design is right or wrong. So just come down and check for one-way shear. Along the length of the footing, we need to check how much critical shear is there, how much nominal shear is there. Your nominal shear will always be less than of your critical shear, and that we are getting means provided depth is safe for one-way shear along the length of the footing. Next, along the width of the footing, the critical shear is 0.27 and nominal shear we are getting 0.2. Means nominal shear means what? At a particular section at a distance of d from the face of your column, at this section, the actual nominal shear coming is 0.2 and capacity of this section is what? 0.27. Obviously it will be safe, so it is now safe for one-way shear. Now just come down, we need to perform the check against the two-way shear. So for the two-way shear it will be what? We need to perform the checks for the two-way shear at a distance of d by 2 from the face of your column. From the face of your column. So yeah, the shear value at that particular section at a distance of d by 2 from the face of your column, what shear value you are getting? 901. What is the perimeter of your shear area? Span of perimeter length of your shear area is what? 3436. Then nominal shear coming to that two-way shear section, it is 0.598. This much shear is there. And what is the capacity of that particular section for the shear? It is what? 0.988. It is against giving what? Provided depth is safe for two-way shear. It is what? Provided depth is safe for two-way shear. Then what? Finally, we are having the design output. Your width of the footing 1600. Your length of the footing should be what? 2000. And overall depth provided as 500. And reinforcement along the width of the footing is 12 mm dia at a spacing of 175 mm center to center. And along the length of the footing, it is 12 mm at a spacing of 175 mm center to center. In any problem, when you are using this Excel sheet, suppose your depth is not safe for the one-way shear, then what you need to do? You need to go back to this stage. You need to increase the depth of the footing. In some cases, suppose your depth, your design is not safe for the two-way shear, again you need to go back to your depth and you have to increase it. Accordingly, you have to play with this Excel sheet and you have to take the final design output from this Excel sheet. Once you complete your design, you can prepare your schedule like this. This is what in plan data, that is the length of the footing is 2 meter, or in mm 2000 mm. Along the width of the footing it is what? 1600. In this way we are going to represent the positioning of the reinforcement. So along the length of the footing spacing is 175. Along the width of the footing again the spacing is 175. Diameter of bar. See, this is what final schedule. So this column first, for the column first, whose section size 230 by 600, and it is the footing first. It is the footing first, and length and width of the footing, and this diameter. So final diameter is what? 12 mm diameter of bar at a spacing of 175. At a spacing of, we have to correct it, 175 mm center to center. Along the width also 12 mm diameter of bar, 12 mm diameter of bar at a spacing of 175 mm center to center. It is a single box footing, and this is what? Sectional elevation, that is showing what? Reinforcement and all the basic details. So in this way we have to design isolated rectangular or even the square footing using this spreadsheet. Hope that you all understood everything that we have covered in this explanation. And now finally you can prepare this kind of complete project for the design of isolated rectangular square footing, and you can finally prepare this final schedule. So this sheet is very practical, and any kind of rectangular square footing you can design using this spreadsheet. Hope that you all enjoyed this session. Thank you.